English is taught and learned in many countries because it is the international language. In Japan, for example, they believe it opened doors and increased international opportunities. Many believe English should be taught as an international language, but still English is being taught as an inner circle language. That is, for example, the American English or British English. The problem is that if you teach English as the inner circle, the classroom may be confused when they confront different types of English users or uses outside the class. How can we expose students to diverse Englishes in the classroom? For example, inviting international visitors and residents in the community to the class. If this is not possible, we can instead introduce diversity of English through chats, movies, or videos. And of course, to incorporate world Englishes, teachers themselves must know the landscape of the language.
English is contributing to the extinction of minor languages. Did you know that every 2 weeks a language dies? If these tendencies continue, by the end of the 21st century, between 70 and 90% of the languages will have disappeared. And as a consequence of this loss of languages, there is an irreparable loss of cultural, historical, and scientific knowledge.
In Capture Circle, we can find the inner circle, the outer circle, and the expanding circle.
The inner circle comprises countries where the language is spoken as a mother tongue, countries like Britain, the US, and Canada. The outer circle encompasses an early phase of the dissemination of English to non-native spaces. English operates as a language of public administration in the most important institutions and plays in global terms the role of a second language of central importance to the nation, countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Egypt. The expanding circle covers, in the case of English, those countries that recognize English as the most important international language, but have not been colonized by any Anglo-Saxon power. While English does not exert any specific function in the public administration, it is taught as the most important foreign language, countries like Chile, Indonesia, and Greece.
As our first conclusion, we can admit the strategies differ from one region to another one. Hierarchies between languages and perspective of a policy of multilingual. Another fact to put into consideration is the COVID model. This is formed by a hierarchical scheme. So this means that the bottom level languages have an attraction towards the higher level languages, according to the gravitational effect. Horizontal and vertical bilingualism. Horizontal bilingualism refers to the ability of learning languages of the same level as our own mother language. Meanwhile, vertical bilingualism refers to the ability of learning languages of different levels. Cultural and linguistic globalization, perspective of a pluricultural and plurilingual policy. Globalization has lots of meanings. First, it refers to the levels of networking. The connection determines the relations a region has with another region involving both of their cultures. A language should not substitute another one in society, even if the language is not as popular as the other one. This is what we call language diversity, and we need to encourage children to keep this ongoing. In order to create a peaceful world between different cultures, we need to eradicate inequality, making finally possible the recognition of other cultures starting by our own.
The recent phenomenon of globalization has strongly favored English, which has become the preferred medium for international communication in many contexts. For example, in the academic world, where English has had implications for language research and education. In the economic world, English serves as lingua franca between people who don't share the same mother tongue, so people can communicate to do business. Having a lingua franca has really helped to improve the economy of several countries around the world. In the technological world, English has had the biggest impact over any language, at least in the last decades. An example of this is that almost every programming language makes use of English. So if you want to develop software, you must speak English. The professional world, English has become a skill every professional around the world must have. Due to the globalization, English is present in different fields like education, technology, health, business, among others.